Hey everyone, welcome to my second attempt at making this video because I just watched back the footage from the first attempt and the mustache that was on my face was just terrible. Just absolutely awful. My name is Connor, I'm 22 years old, and I'm launching this channel as well as a blog because I'm on a mission to raise awareness of one simple fact, and that's the fact that boys and men can be anorexic. For anyone who doesn't know, anorexia is an eating disorder caused basically by a really intense fear of gaining weight or a really intense obsession with losing weight. And this fear or this obsession often manifests in a number of different ways, a number of different symptoms or warning signs or whatever you want to call them. A really restrictive diet, a compulsive obsession with exercise, a loss of social spontaneity, a loss of interest in socializing with others in general, and like I said, a bunch of other symptoms. And everyone experiences anorexia differently. Everyone navigates the disorder in their own unique way. In fact, the next video that I want to make for this channel will be about the ways in which anorexia and privilege intersect, because as you can probably tell just by looking at me, privilege is not something I lack, and that's something that I want to address. It's something that I want to be consistently at the forefront of this conversation that I'm trying to start about boys and men and anorexia. Like a lot of eating disorders, anorexia is considered by many to be a woman's problem. In other words, the conventional wisdom is that boys and men don't suffer from anorexia. Anorexia is something that only girls and women have to deal with. But reality tells a different story. According to Mirror Mirror, which is an organization that helps those who are struggling with eating disorders, about 10% of reported anorexia cases come from boys and men. And in all likelihood, that 10% figure is a massive underestimate because the stigma against boys and men seeking emotional help and this lack of awareness surrounding their susceptibility to anorexia keeps boys and men from reporting their cases in the first place, which sort of leads me to the question at the center of all of this, at the center of this project that I'm trying to embark on. Why is it that so many people are unaware that boys and men can be anorexic? And I think the answer, at least from my perspective, can be summed up with just two words: patriarchal masculinity. Within a culture of patriarchal masculinity, boys and men are taught to be strong or dominant by refusing to express any feeling other than anger. So, for example, when a boy in elementary school falls down at recess and he begins to cry, the teasing he receives from his classmates teaches him that sadness isn't really an appropriate emotion for a boy to express. But later in life, when he's a man and he's out at a bar, say, with his girlfriend and his friends, and some other guy hits on his girlfriend, the praise he receives from his friends and the people around him for starting some kind of confrontation or fight, that teaches him that anger is not only an appropriate emotion for a man to express, but an admirable one. From a very early age, our interactions with other people teach us that being masculine means being dominant, rational, emotionless, and confident. And as a result, any boy or man who's caught acting passively, submissively, or irrationally, emotionally, timidly, they're seen as feminine, as lesser than. And that's sort of why I use the adjective patriarchal around masculinity, because under patriarchy, masculinity dominates femininity. And when you think of someone who's struggling with anorexia, do the words dominant and confident come to mind? And the answer, of course, is no. The nature of anorexia and the way we think about masculinity are completely at odds with one another. They're polar opposites. And I think that's the main reason, at least one of the main reasons, why so many people are unaware that boys and men can be anorexic. And here's why that's a really, really dangerous thing. Anorexia is a very serious disorder. According to Eating Disorder Hope, which is another one of these organizations that lends support to those who are struggling, anorexia takes more lives than any other mental disorder. It's quite literally the deadliest mental disorder there is. And that's why this lack of awareness surrounding boys and men and anorexia is so serious. As long as we, as a culture, believe that boys and men can't be anorexic, thousands of people will continue to suffer in silence in the same way that I did for part of my life. Although most of those boys and men who are suffering in silence won't die, some of them will. And I think if we can start a conversation and raise awareness about that boys and men can, in fact, be anorexic and prevent just one of them from dying, it'll all be worth it. And I think I'm going to leave it on that note for today. If you're watching, thank you so much for doing so. Down in the description box, you'll find the phone number for the Anorexia, Nervosa, and Associated Disorders hotline, which you or anyone you can call, anyone you know can call if you're looking for immediate help. Thank you so much, and tune in for the next ones. Thanks.